Picture this: the soft glow of a single lamp casting long shadows across a room that smells faintly of cedar and old books. A space so familiar I could navigate it with my eyes closed. I'm Lauren, 44 years old, a marketing consultant who's spent years crafting strategies to sell ideas, always with my feet planted firmly on the ground. I'm not one for wild dreams or reckless whims, pragmatic to a fault, some might say. My life, at least on the surface, is a neatly ordered puzzle, every piece slotted just so. And at the center of that puzzle is David, my husband of 18 years. He's 46, an architect with a quiet strength, a mind that cuts through chaos to design structures of breathtaking precision, and a depth of feeling I've only started to truly see in recent years. We've built a life together in our suburban home in Portland, Oregon, a cozy haven of muted greens and warm wood tones, shared with no one but Max, our golden retriever who's more family than pet. Our evenings often unfold in a rhythm so predictable, it's almost a ritual. After dinner, with the faint clink of dishes still echoing from the kitchen, we settle onto the couch, the worn leather creaking under our weight. David's got his tablet propped on his knee, his stylus moving in quick, deliberate strokes as he sketches out some new building design, his brow furrowed in that way that makes him look both focused and far away. I'm next to him, my laptop open, scrolling through a flood of work emails that never seems to end, half listening to the low murmur of the TV in the background, some nature documentary or cooking show we're not really watching. Max is sprawled at our feet, his soft snores a steady counterpoint to the quiet between us. It's a scene of comfort, of safety, the kind of life I always thought I wanted, and yet there's this undercurrent, this faint itch I can't quite scratch, a restlessness that lingers in the corners of my mind, whispering that maybe there's something more, something missing. Don't get me wrong, though. David and we've always had a bond that felt unbreakable. Late at night, when the world outside our bedroom window is still, we've shared everything. Little secrets, half-formed dreams, the kind of raw, unguarded thoughts you only speak in the dark. Those moments, tangled in the sheets, our voices barely above a whisper, have been our sanctuary. We've laughed over silly confessions, held each other through doubts, and even explored desires that made my cheeks flush just to say out loud. Those private, heated exchanges where words and touches blur into something deeper, something that binds us in ways I can't describe without crossing a line. Let's just say those nights reminded me that beneath the mundane, there's a fire we've never fully let burn out. But even with all that openness, even with the warmth of those stolen hours, I've felt the weight of routine pressing down. It was a rainy Thursday night, the kind where the world outside feels like it's holding its breath. Our bedroom was a small island of warmth, lit only by the soft amber glow of the bedside lamp, casting gentle shadows on the walls. The steady patter of rain against the window wrapped us in a cocoon of intimacy, muffling everything beyond these four walls. David and I were lying in bed, propped up on pillows, the sheets cool against my skin as we talked about the mundane stuff that fills most of our conversations. My latest project deadline that's been eating at my nerves, his upcoming client meeting, whether we should hike or just binge a series over the weekend. It was the kind of talk that usually lulls us into a comfortable quiet, but tonight, something shifted. I don't know what prompted it. Maybe the way the rain made everything feel closer, more raw, but our chatter drifted to fantasies. Those little daydreams we've tossed around before, always with a laugh or a playful nudge. Feeling a bit daring, I let a thought slip out. My voice light, almost teasing. I said I'd sometimes wondered what it would be like to share a moment of closeness with another man, to explore that kind of uncharted connection. I expected David to chuckle, maybe throw a pillow at me, or roll his eyes with that familiar smirk. But he didn't. Instead, he turned to me, his hazel eyes catching mine in the dim light, holding me there with an intensity I wasn't prepared for. His face was serious, yet there was a tenderness in it, a softness that made my breath catch. And then he spoke, his voice low and steady, each word deliberate. "If you ever do it, let me be there. I want to watch." The way he said it, calm, with a quiet passion that vibrated beneath the surface, not a trace of anger or jest, sent a shiver racing down my spine. It wasn't just the words, it was the weight behind them, the way they seemed to pull something unspoken into the open. I froze, my mind scrambling to process what I'd just heard. Was he serious? Was this some kind of test, a way to gauge my reaction? My heart thudded in my chest, a mix of shock and confusion swirling inside me. And beneath it all, if I'm honest, there was a flicker of curiosity. Unexpected, unwelcome, but there all the same. What did he mean by that? What did I even want it to mean? We didn't dive deeper into it that night. The conversation drifted away, as if it had never happened, like a stone dropped into still water, the ripples fading too quickly. David turned off the lamp, murmured a soft good night, and soon his breathing slowed into the steady rhythm of sleep. But I couldn't close my eyes. I lay there in the dark, the rain still tapping against the glass, replaying his words over and over in my mind. I want to watch. Each time I heard them in my head. A week has passed since that rainy night when David's words turned my world upside down, but they've lingered in my mind like a song I can't stop humming. I've tried to push them aside, to focus on the normalcy of our life, but they keep creeping back in quiet moments. It's a Saturday morning now, and I'm perched at the kitchen island in our Portland home, still in my faded flannel pajamas, the comforting aroma of freshly brewed coffee filling the air. The sunlight streams through the window, glinting off the granite countertop, while Max snores softly in his bed by the corner. David's across from me, flipping through a magazine about modern architecture, a plate of half-eaten toast between us. I'm sipping my coffee, the warmth of the mug grounding me, when he looks up, his hazel eyes meeting mine with that same quiet intensity I saw in the dark a week ago. "Have you thought about what I said the other night?" he asks, his tone casual, as if he's inquiring about weekend plans. I nearly choke on my coffee, a nervous laugh bubbling up as I set the mug down with a clink. "Oh, come on. You were just messing with me, right?" I say, hoping to steer us back to safer ground. But he doesn't smile, doesn't let it drop. Instead, he leans forward slightly, his voice steady and earnest. "I'm serious, Lauren. I've been thinking about it a lot. I want us to explore this, together." My stomach twists, a whirlwind of emotions crashing through me, disbelief that he's bringing this up again, fear of what it means for us, and, if I'm brutally honest, a growing intrigue I can't quite suppress. It's like a door I never knew existed has cracked open, and I'm torn between slamming it shut and peeking through. We talk for hours that morning, the conversation stretching into the afternoon as the sunlight shifts across the kitchen. I pace between the island and the sink, my bare feet cold against the tile, while David sits, calm and patient, answering every frantic question I throw at him. What does this mean for our marriage? How would it even work? Are we crazy to consider this? And yet, beneath the panic, there's this electric undercurrent, a pull I can't ignore. By the time the sky outside turns a dusky gray, something unthinkable happens. We agree to do it. To actually step over this boundary we've only ever whispered about in the safety of our bedroom. It feels like I've jumped off a cliff, the ground rushing up to meet me, and I don't know if I'll land or crash. The planning begins almost immediately, and it's surreal, like I'm watching someone else's life unfold. We decide on a hotel downtown, A sleek, modern place with mirrored elevators and crisp white sheets. A deliberate choice to keep this separate from our home, from the life we've built. I'm the one who will choose the person, a decision that feels both empowering and terrifying, while David insists on being there, silent, a shadow in the room, watching as it all unfolds. We set ground rules, boundaries carved out in hushed tones over glasses of wine late at night, rules about safety, about communication, about stopping if either of us feels wrong. Every detail is dissected, from how we'll handle the aftermath to how we'll protect what we have. It's methodical, almost clinical, but my heart races every time we talk about it. Then comes the night we sit together on the couch, Max curled up between us, as I download a dating app on my phone. My hands tremble as I tap through the setup, David leaning over my shoulder, his breath warm against my neck. At first, we giggle nervously, swiping through profiles with awkward commentary, too serious, too young, too much like someone we know. But the laughter fades as the reality sinks in. This isn't a game. I'm looking for someone real, someone who might step into this uncharted space with us. My thumb hovers over each photo, my mind spinning with what-ifs, until the weight of it all makes my chest tight. David squeezes my hand. Here I am, standing in the middle of a sleek upscale suite on the 12th floor of a downtown hotel, the kind of place that feels like it belongs to someone else's life, not mine. The city sprawls out below, a glittering maze of lights twinkling through the floor-to-ceiling windows, casting a soft golden haze across the room. It's mesmerizing, almost hypnotic, but my eyes keep darting away from the view to take in the space around me. The king-sized bed dominates the center, its crisp white sheets folded with military precision, looking both inviting and intimidating under the dim glow of the bedside lamps. The air is cool, tinged with the faint, sterile scent of luxury, polished wood, fresh linen, and a hint of something floral from the diffuser on the nightstand. Every detail screams sophistication, from the minimalist decor to the plush gray rug underfoot. But it's not just the setting that has my nerves on edge. It's the weight of what's about to happen. The unspoken promise hanging in the atmosphere, thick and heavy, as if the room itself is holding its breath right alongside me. I'm trembling, not out of fear, but from this wild cocktail of nerves and excitement churning inside me. My hands fidget with the strap of my purse, the leather slick under my sweaty palms as I set it down on a small glass table near the door with a soft clink. I catch my reflection in the mirror across the room, my eyes wide, my cheeks flushed, my breath shallow. I barely recognize myself, like I've stepped into someone else's skin for the night. David is already here, seated in a sleek black armchair tucked into the corner, his posture deceptively calm. His hands rest on the armrests, fingers still, but his hazel eyes are anything but relaxed. They're intense, piercing, tracking every tiny movement I make, and I can feel the heat of his gaze like a physical touch. It's unnerving, yet there's a strange comfort in knowing he's here, a silent anchor in this storm of uncertainty. Ethan, the man I chose after weeks of hesitation and second-guessing, stands near the window, his silhouette framed against the city lights. He's casual in a dark button-up shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows, one hand holding a glass of water he pulled from the minibar. He takes a slow sip, his movements deliberate, exuding a quiet confidence that fills the room. When he turns to me, his lips curve into a reassuring smile, and those dark eyes of his seem to see right through the mask I'm trying to wear. My heart skips, and I force myself to look away, focusing on the way the light reflects off the glass in his hand, anything to steady myself. We start with small talk, the kind that feels forced and brittle, like we're all tiptoeing around the real reason we're here. I comment on the view, my voice a little too high, a little too bright, as I gesture toward the sprawling cityscape. It's incredible, isn't it? Like a painting. Ethan nods, stepping a bit closer, his tone warm as he agrees, adding that he's always loved this part of town at night. David chimes in from his corner, his voice low, mentioning how the hotel's design is impressive, the clean lines and modern aesthetic something he'd admire as an architect. It's mundane, safe, a way to fill the silence, but every word feels loaded, every pause stretched too long. My fingers twist together, and I can't stop shifting my weight from one foot to the other, the tension coiling tighter in my chest with every passing second. Then, Ethan moves closer still, his presence magnetic, pulling my attention like gravity. He sets his glass down on the windowsill with a faint clink, and the space between us shrinks until I can feel the warmth radiating from him. My breath hitches as he reaches out, his hand brushing across my cheek in a slow, deliberate motion. It's gentle, almost tender, but it sends a jolt through me, electric and sharp, lighting up every nerve in my body. His dark eyes search mine, holding a question, a quiet request for permission, a silent check to see if I'm ready to cross this invisible line. I nod, barely, my throat too tight to speak, and that's all it takes. The air shifts, charged with something raw and undeniable, as Ethan's touch deepens, his fingers tracing a path from my cheek to the curve of my jaw, warm and steady. I'm hyper-aware of every sensation, the heat of his palm against my skin, the subtle roughness of his fingertips, the faint scent of his cologne, something woody and intoxicating that mixes with the sterile luxury of the room. My own breathing is uneven, a staccato rhythm I can't control. Each inhale sharp, each exhale shaky, as if my body is trying to keep up with the storm inside me. I steal a glance at David, unable to resist the pull of his presence even now. He's still in that armchair, a shadow in the corner, his silence louder than any words could be. His gaze is unwavering, almost hypnotic, locking onto me with an intensity that makes my skin prickle. There's fascination there, clear as day, but also something else, something I can't read, something that twists in my chest like a knot. Is it approval? Is it pain? I don't know, and not knowing amplifies every feeling, every touch, every second that ticks by. It's as if his eyes are mirrors, reflecting the chaos of my emotions back at me. And I'm caught between wanting to look away and needing to see what's behind them. Ethan's hand slides to the nape of my neck, pulling me gently closer, and the world narrows to just this moment, this connection. His touch is a current, pulling me under, and I'm drowning in the thrill of it, the forbidden edge that sharpens every sensation. But beneath that thrill, there's a heavy weight, a guilt that claws at me, whispering that I'm betraying something sacred, even if David is right here, even if he wanted this. I'm cheating on my husband, consent or not, and the realization hits like a wave, cold and sobering, only to be swept away by the heat of Ethan's nearness. It's a paradox, this dance of shame and exhilaration, two sides of the same coin spinning in my mind, and I'm dizzy with it. Yet there's a freedom too, an unexpected release in letting go of restraint, in allowing myself to feel without the usual barriers I've built so carefully over the years. Our eyes meet, Ethan's and mine, just for a fleeting second, and there's an intensity there, a shared understanding that cuts through the haze. It's brief, but it's enough to anchor me, to remind me I'm not alone in this uncharted territory. Then, a small, nervous laugh escapes us both, a sound that breaks the tension like a crack in glass, light and real, and for a moment, it's just the two of us, caught in this strange, surreal bubble. But David's presence looms, a constant undercurrent, making every gesture, every breath feel magnified, like we're performing on a stage I didn't choose. I can't shake the awareness of him watching, the way it heightens everything, turning even the smallest touch into something monumental, Something I'll never forget. My heart is a drum in my chest, pounding out a rhythm of conflict as I let myself lean into this experience. I'm torn, split down the middle between the rush of desire and the ache of remorse. And I can't deny the truth whispering in the back of my mind. I like this. I like the way it feels to be seen, to be wanted in this raw, unguarded way, even as the shame burns hot under my skin. It's a confession I can barely admit to myself, let alone out loud, but it's there, undeniable, a flame I can't extinguish. Every brush of Ethan's hand, every shared glance, feels like a step further into a place I never thought I'd go, and yet, I'm not turning back. Not yet. Time seems to bend, stretching and folding in on itself, until the intensity begins to ebb, the moment winding down like a storm passing over. The room falls silent as the charged atmosphere in the hotel room begins to settle. A quiet falls over us, heavy with the weight of what just transpired. I'm still catching my breath, my pulse slowing as I sit on the edge of the bed, the sheets slightly rumpled beneath me. The city lights beyond the window continue to shimmer, indifferent to the storm of emotions swirling inside me. Ethan moves with a quiet grace, gathering his things in the dim light, his movements deliberate and unhurried. He dresses without a word at first, the soft rustle of fabric the only sound breaking the stillness. Then, turning to me, he offers a polite goodbye, his voice low and warm, accompanied by a knowing smile that lingers in my mind. It's a smile that speaks of shared secrets, of a moment we both know will never be spoken of again, at least not in the same way. He slips out of the room, the door clicking shut behind him, with a finality that echoes in my chest, leaving David and me alone in the aftermath. I sit there, my hands clasped tightly in my lap, fingers twisting together as if they could hold on to some semblance of control. The silence between us is deafening, thicker than the tension that preceded this night. I wait for David to speak, bracing myself for anger, for regret, for some sign that we've crossed a line we can't uncross. My mind races with possibilities. Will he lash out? Will he withdraw? Will he look at me differently now? I can't bring myself to meet his gaze, my eyes fixed on the intricate pattern of the rug beneath my feet, tracing the lines as if they might offer some answer. Every second stretches into eternity, my heart thudding so loudly I'm sure he can hear it. I feel exposed, vulnerable in a way I haven't felt in years, as if every layer I've built around myself has been stripped away in the span of a single night. But then, I hear the faint creak of the armchair as David stands. His footsteps are slow, measured, each one reverberating through the quiet room as he crosses the space between us. I don't look up, not yet, too afraid of what I might see in his expression. He sits beside me on the bed, the mattress dipping slightly under his weight, and I feel the warmth of his presence before I feel his touch. His arm slides around my shoulders, a gesture so familiar it should be comforting. Yet in this moment, it's charged with something entirely new. A current of unspoken understanding, of shared experience that has shifted the very foundation of who we are. I finally lift my eyes to his, searching for judgment, for doubt. But instead, I find something else, something intense and unreadable. A depth I'm not sure I'm ready to dive into. His face is close to mine now, his breath warm against my ear as he leans in. His voice, when he speaks, is low and steady, a whisper that sends a shiver down my spine. Next time, you'll pick two. The words hang in the air, heavy with implication, each syllable sinking into me like a stone dropped into deep water. I pull back slightly, shock coursing through me, a nervous laugh escaping my lips before I can stop it. It's a brittle sound, tinged with disbelief, as my mind reels to catch up with what he's just said. I search his face, looking for any hint of jest, any sign that he's not serious. But there's none. His hazel eyes hold that same quiet passion I saw the night he first suggested this path, the night that set us on this collision course. It's not a game to him, it's a promise, a challenge, a door he's inviting me to open even wider. My breath catches, and for a moment, I don't know how to respond. Part of me wants to protest, to say we've gone far enough, to pull us back to the safety of the life we knew before. But there's another part, quieter but insistent, that doesn't regret what happened tonight. That part of me is drawn to the idea of pushing boundaries further, of exploring this uncharted territory we've stumbled into. I can't deny the thrill that comes with exploring new boundaries. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.